Jonathan, we'll let you come up and present your guests and let them tell us about the athletics. Thank you, David. So I'm honored and privileged to have Matt and JD on with us today to share a little bit about our programs. Coach Rich has been with us for a while as our basketball coach, but is newly, since July 1, became our athletic director. So I'll start with Coach Ridge, just a few things about him. Matt played and graduated right down the road at Lefford Senior High, and was a part of, probably, as much as I hate to say it because we played against each other in high school, one of the best programs during that early 90s era that the state has probably seen. The guys won a lot of games, finished runner-up in state championship games. Was it Aiden Griffin? Am I right? All right, so come close there. After high school, Matt went on. So one kudos, he went to University of North Carolina. So at Carolina, he also participated on the JV basketball team and was an student assistant coach for them from 92 to 96. After graduation, he came out and he was the head basketball coach at High Point Central. Then he moved to East Davidson High School, had a very successful run there. And then he went on to be the assistant coach at Guilford College. After that, Matt became the head basketball coach at Davidson-Davie Community College. And over the last 14 years, Matt has amassed a record of 363 wins and only 77 losses. So, you know, he wins a few ball games for us. and as I said, now is our athletic director, and right now, not only with basketball, but we have volleyball and we have men's and women's golf. I won't steal his thunder and let him talk about that. But he's also been named the Region 10 Coach of the Year 10 times, and also the District 7 Coach of the Year 6 times. So if you would, please welcome Matt to the podium.
I'd like to thank Dr. Brown for that. I also want to say I remember my sophomore year trying to guard him, and I absolutely got my ankles broken several times when he was taking me to the hole. But seriously, check off whether they actually achieve that goal or not. They have a basketball court they bring to practice every day, just as if they were going to chemistry class. Write down every play, remember every position, you know, what they're doing in every play. I'll give them handwritten tests. If they miss it, the next day they run in practice. So there's a high level of accountability. I want them to have a vision and a purpose, and more importantly, dream big and be willing to make the sacrifices that they need to make their dreams become a reality. Not just on the court, not just in the classroom, but everything they're doing in their life. Have daily goals so the long-term goals can become a reality. The second fundamental is work ethic. One of my 3 non-negotiables at Davidson is you're going to play really, really hard. And the other two are your attitude and being coachable and listening. But when I recruit young men, one of the first things I look for is their motive. And you're getting ready to hear from one of the hardest playing dudes I've ever coached in Davion Jones. And if you come see us play this year, number one will outwork anybody on the court. And I'm blessed to get to watch him every day at practice. You know, last night was just another day for him and all of us, but for me, it's a pleasure to get to coach Davion Jones. There's 3 types of people in the world, in my opinion. People that watch things happen, wonder what happened, and then people like Davion that makes things happen. We believe in athletics, unlike in life for a lot of young men and women. There is no elevator to success. You have to outwork people as a coach, as a player. You can outthink people, you can out-tough people, and you can out-believe people. And Javion checks a lot of those boxes. We also believe championships are won when nobody is looking. So obviously my players have to come to practice. That's non-negotiable. But what they do in a day when they're done with their classes, done with study hall, the gym's available to them, the weight room's available to them, you can outwork people by doing things outside of practice when other people around the state and country are not. And the Bible says what you do in the dark will eventually come to light. And we see that in athletics every day. We also see it in news. And so the second fundamental of our program is your work ethic. The third one is preparation. We believe preparation will not just help you become a better player, better student, but it also gives you supreme confidence. The more you study for that calculus test, the more confidence you're going to have when that teacher gives you the test. It's the same deal in basketball. If you shot 1,000 shots on the gun, which we ask our players to do every day before practice, 1,000 shots a day on the gun. Now, that's not mandatory, that's optional, but a lot of our young men have done just that. But if you do that, come game day, you're going to be more confident. Today, when I was preparing to come up here and speak, I probably spent about 2 to 3 hours just for this 20 minutes. So I really believe what Abraham Lincoln is true. If I only have 1 hour to chop down a tree, I'm going to spend those first 45 minutes of that hour sharpening my axe. Preparation is separation, and while you work, you must be waiting for your opportunity. We had a young man a few years ago, Demetrius Sanders, transferred to us from Newberry College. Coach kicked him off the team because his academics were not great and his attitude in practice was awful. Coach Davis at that time, Dave Davis, who's now the associate head coach at Charleston, called me and said, "Man, you can have him. He's really talented and really athletic, but he's not the kind of young man I want at my program." So we brought him on campus. I signed him because I saw his potential. And after 2 months, in August, September, I think part of October, I said, "Man, I said, Demetrius, we're redshirting. You're not going to play this year." He was flunking 3 out of 5 classes, folks. I said, "You are a great player, but we can't. I mean, you're not going to be eligible anyway." So we redshirted him, and he was in my office in tears. And after that day, folks, he went to every class, got every class up to passing. And in January, our leading scorer, Kyle Ridley, had a season-ending injury. We were playing at arch rival Sand Hills, and I had to activate somebody. I had 5 red shirts. I chose Demetrius. The next night, he led us in scoring and rebounding, and he ended up getting a full scholarship to Swan University. And today, he makes more money than I do. And that's a true story. So, you know, to me, it's more than basketball. It's about teaching these young men how to win, not just on the court, but using these fundamentals of life that can help you beyond the court. The fourth one is, of course, you got to be a student first. You got to value education. And the reality is some of the people we bring in don't value education. And they're going to a junior college because they didn't have great grades in high school. And so it's my job to get them to understand how education can change their life. And Javion in a minute is going to share his story with you. And I don't know, I hope you guys, every time I hear him share his story, it gives me chills because I love that young man to death. Getting my degree from Chapel Hill changed my life. Getting my master's degree from the University of Phoenix helped me get the job I have today. If I didn't have my master's degree, I would not be at the college. I'd still be teaching math at Southwest Guilford High School. So, you know, your education has obviously got to be first, your student athlete first, and we have all kinds of things in place to help our student athletes be successful. They have to do a minimum of 2 hours study hall every week. If your grades slip, it goes to 3 hours. If you're making A's, it drops to 1 hour per week. We have a Starfish program where if you miss an assignment or a class, we get an email notification that day. And of course, as a coach, we hold them accountable in numerous ways. When I was at Carolina, my wife tells me all the time I'm scarred. I refer to Dean Smith time. Coach Smith said, if you're not 15 minutes early dressed and ready, you're late and you'll run. And my freshman year, true story, I lived in Mangan Dorm, which is near Franklin Street. Pierce Landry was a sophomore my freshman year who ended up making the varsity from Page High School. He would stop by and give me a ride in the Smith Center every day for practice. And then he would kick my butt every day for practice because he was better. But one particular day he called me. I didn't have a cell phone back then in the 90s. But he called me in my dorm room and said, "Man, I can't pick you up. I got to get around myself. My car's broken." So I plan on taking the bus to the Smith Center. Well, as I ran down my dorm room, the steps to the bus stop, the bus was pulling off. And it's pouring down rain, both January, middle of January. I had a decision to make, wait on the next bus in 15 minutes or take off sprinting through the campus. I took off sprinting, got there, ran down to the JV locker room, put on my practice gear, ran down to the tunnel, and there was like 10 managers on the JV team. And I was literally 1 or 2 minutes late. Now, I was like 13 minutes early before the varsity finished practice where we would go out. So we always ran 2 laps, did form shooting just like we do at college. And Phil Ford came up behind me and put his arm around me. Said, "Matt, our manager over here, Joe, said you were 2 minutes late." I said, "Yes, sir." And I told him the story. And he said, you need to go see Joe. And I walked over there. Joe handed me a weighted vest. I went to the top of the Smith Center for 2.5 hours, folks. I ran up, down, and over the top of the Smith Center. So my wife says I'm scarred about punctuality, but I believe being on time is very important. We do have 3 daughters, so getting everybody ready, I'll go with them get challenged. But the 5th fundamental is attitude. And I believe the only disability in life is having a bad attitude. And some of the happiest people I've ever met are people with Down syndrome. And I think your attitude's a choice. I screw up sometimes with my attitude, whether it be body language, tone of voice. But I really believe that's one area that I can work on. And I hope my players can see that I can choose my attitude even when times are tough. And folks, the reality is there's going to be bumps in the road for all of us, whether you're a student athlete, a husband, a coach, or whatever. And if you are grounded with your faith in Jesus Christ, you will have a security about yourself, in my opinion, that will get you through any storm in life. And the light's got to be brighter. I tell our team this every point a lot, on the inside than the outside. So as you have success, like some of these guys that I've coached have, you've got to use the platform you have to help other people, because that's what life's all about. And Javion is a prime example. This summer, he would go and spend time with his girlfriend, watching a young man, I don't remember how old he was, 7, 8 years old, and watch him play baseball. Javion didn't have to do that, but he's trying to give back to the community, to people that came and watched and supported him. And so we really want our athletes to be holistically improving, not just in the classroom, but on the court. And I challenge my players and I challenge my staff to ask yourself, when you walk in a room, do you have the attitude, here I come, it's about me, or there you are? And I really try to do that myself, is make sure people know that I truly want to listen and learn and care about other people. And control what you can control, body language, attitude. When the referee makes a bad call, my players know they better not be talking back. Or, when they come out of the game, untucking their jersey, that's one of the quickest ways you'll sit on the bench. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So surround yourself with great people. And when times are tough, remember Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper, not harm. And expect your journey to have potholes. And Javion's going to tell you about some of his potholes in his journey and where he's at now and how he's drawn strength from those who believed him, encouraged from people that did not. So with that being said, Javion's not the only student athlete in my 14 years that has used Davidson as a vehicle to get a free education. He's already got multiple full scholarships. He was an All-American last year. But more importantly, he is a wonderful young man that's accepted Jesus Christ as a Savior. And I am so proud to say that I'm not just an athletic director and coach, but I get to coach Javion Jones. So Javion, if you would, come on up, buddy. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
First of all, I want to thank you all for letting us speak and inviting me, because since I've been here, it's almost been like a big family, from Thomasville to Lexington. I remember my freshman year being here, we would go out to Walmart together, and when we wore our storm gear, we would have people to greet us and tell us that they would be watching us play and stuff like that. And it feels great because I've been playing basketball for a long time, but I've never been around like such a small community with such a big fan base. And I just want to thank y'all for that. But my name is Javion, and I recently just turned 21. But I would say my years of high school and like middle school, I was a trouble kid. I used to get myself in a lot of trouble, and I played basketball my freshman year. But my sophomore year, I got expelled from school. I had to repeat that grade. And then the next year, I got expelled from school, so I had to repeat that grade also. My coach gave me, I want to say, the 4th chance because I got expelled twice. So the 4th chance to come back and play, and that was my starting point to where I knew that I had to get better, not as a basketball player, but as a person. And I had to straighten up, because if I didn't, then I won't have basketball anymore. So I got better as a person, but I still had more places that I needed to grow, and it wasn't more so physically; it was a lot mentally. But I played my 11th grade year at Rocky Mount. That's where I'm from, and I ended up going to Mount Zion my 12th grade year. I played a post grad team at Mount Zion. I ended up playing Davidson, and after that, they recruited me. Since I had met Ridge, it's just like having my high school coach all over again. It's like a second chance, and like I always told myself, like I can't screw this up again because like this it's a great person that believes in me, and you don't get too many people that really believes in you and push you to be a better you, a better basketball player, a better person. You don't get too many people like that. You don't meet too many people that really believes in you and shows you, not just tell you, but shows you. Actions speak louder than words, and that's just something that my grandmother had always told me. When I used to always tell her that I was straightened up, she said actions speak louder than words, and I just take that into consideration because I mean, if you don't do it, then everything you said was just a lie, and nobody believes a liar. Nobody believes in a liar. So I would say my freshman year here, I still had a lot of places to grow. I mean, I have an extreme motor, and my I don't want to say my attitude, but me yelling and stuff like that, they would take it as like an attitude, but it wasn't much of an attitude. It's just like me, like in the moment, like adrenaline rushing and stuff like that. But I knew there's something I needed to work on because I'm yelling at my teammates, and that's discouraging them, and that's going to bring them down instead of bringing them up. So that's one thing that Rich is always talking to me about, something that I need to grow in, communicate with my teammates, being more family oriented because growing up, I never really had like the family experience. But when I got here, I started to gain it and I started like put trust into it because that helps you. If you have family that'll help you, you need to like let them help you and not be in a shell. You in a shell, I mean, it ain't much that you're gonna bring out. So I would say my freshman year, it was just like I just became a way better person. A lot more people started to like me. A lot more people started communicating with me. The fan base, not even just the fan base, like the people at school. I never really interacted with classmates. I used to always just like think that I can do everything on my own. And then I started communicating with my classmates and my teachers, and my grades started rocketing up. They always say when you in college that it ain't about just sports. You have to do school. And my grades, they didn't drop, but I went from like a 2.5 to a 2.0. But you need like a 2.2, 2.5 to go D2, D1. And that's what was holding me down. So I knew it was either I had to bustle up and do my classwork or just stay the same person that I am. So I've been getting a lot of tutoring help, help with my teammates that has taken classes and can help me and stuff like that. They get my GPA up higher, and I went from a 2.0 to a 2.4. So I have a whole year to get to where I want to be, and that goal is like at least a 2.7. Well, if I pass both of my classes with A's this semester, I have a 2.6. So I've been buckling down, studying for my tests, my exams, doing extra credit. I just took an exam earlier today, and I made a 78 on it, but I did an extra credit assignment 2 days ago, and that's an extra 2 points. So it's basically an 80 on my exam. I mean, you getting when you're here, Dave said you get all the tools, all the help, the people, the right place to do something great, do something good with yourself, especially if this is like your second or third chance. You have people that's willing to help you, but you just have to take that help. And it's always a couple things that he always say, like it's non-negotiables. And it's true. If you don't do those things, then not just on the basketball court, but off the basketball court, it would help you if you do those things. Like you will have people that sees that and notice it, and then they hear it from Rich and they be like, "Oh, yeah, this kid right here is definitely a testimony. Or this kid right here is definitely someone that has installed some sense or like some teaching into." And a lot of people tell me that I'm definitely one of those guys because I listened to them. I bought in basically. We always have kids that's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Well, you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out because it's not helping you. It's not helping us as a whole, and it's not always just about you. It's about the team. So this is I'm a COVID sophomore. It's like my third year, and I'm actually very excited that I came back because not only is like it's more of an opportunity, but I get to meet new people with different stories that could install more knowledge and sense into me to know that the things that I don't know, it's a lot to know about basketball and about life, and I don't know everything. So I'm definitely willing to listen to anybody or somebody that is willing to install some teaching into me. And I'm just grateful, honestly. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I just thank y'all for everything.
Javion's an exceptional young man that turned down full scholarships to several schools that he was eligible to receive last year to come back for a third year. I was in the office exit meeting last spring, and I was almost felt like I was trying to talk him out of coming back because I wanted what was best for him in all season. Every decision I make during the season is what's best for the team, but out of the season I try to do what's best for individual kids. But obviously I'm glad to have him back. But it's going to be interesting to see him follow him this year. The last thing I want to say is we got approved last week a fundraising strategy, and I did not come here to ask for money. But going forward, one of my jobs is to do fundraising in our community. And if you know of anyone, or maybe if your business is interested in helping us out, we have different levels of the Storm Club we're going to roll out here in the next few weeks. Please give me a call. JB's got a flyer to give you with my contact information on it. If you know of anybody in our community that might be drawn to our athletic program, I'll be more than willing to go and sit down and talk to them and kind of explain the different levels. But thank you so much for allowing us to have the time to speak. I grew up in this community. I love this community. And my wife and I and my kids eat here about every Sunday after church. So the Women's Club obviously is very good too. So thank you so much.
JB, thanks for bringing out Javion and Coach Ridge. And Javion, what we'll say is, one of the things that we pride ourselves on here at Rotary is giving back to the community. So everything that you do, we want to encourage you, give back, give back, give back, whether it's here, Rocky Mountain, or wherever you go. So we appreciate hearing your story and all that you're doing for the community, and same with you, Coach.